aquarium service business, if you stand behind the product that you service or provide, it sometimes involves the need for emergency calls.
We received another page just a little bit ago. It's a freshwater account. I tend to not have many. This happens to be a senior citizens or assisted living home for seniors. So we're going to dash over there and see what's wrong with the tank.
It's a very simple tank, 100-gallon acrylic with an under gravel filter and an external canister filter. It's got an air bubbler on the tank as well. It's not that sophisticated, but it sure has done well. So apparently there's been some evaporation here over the last month, which this is a monthly account, and they were afraid that the water level had dropped. They've also replaced the bulb with a hardware store bulb. So it has a very yellow look to it. There is a new manager, and perhaps she's mistaken the lack of familiarity with the aquarium for some particular issue. But I'm glad that they've called, because it means they're paying attention to the tank.
Okay, so that was a easy fix. It's a freshwater tank, under gravel filter, with a canister filter, and it gets serviced once a month. In this particular situation, two things occurred. The light in the tank is left on 24/7. I don't know, maybe the seniors need a night light or could use it as a display at nighttime. But anyhow, that light's on 24/7, so it tends to seemingly burn out a lot sooner. And in this case, obviously it did. And someone over the weekend went to the hardware store, got a $4 shop bulb and stuck it in there. And so instead of that nice blue look to it, it kind of has that yellow, real warm look to it. So between the evaporated water in the tank, which, because right now this time of year is real significant or heavy evaporation, the water level's down about 3 inches. And the yellow light, somebody thought something was wrong. So part of being available for emergency calls and questions for the customer, that's what aquarium service is all about, right? Well, it's about 10 minutes to 5 on a Monday evening. I thought the day was over with services, but I did just receive a telephone call from the homeowner of the cylinder tank, and he said there's a very strong smell in the house, and he thinks one of the water pumps in the tank has failed and needs me to come over right away. You darn tootin', I'm Johnny on the spot.
Even if you're mediocre at what you do, being able to respond to a customer's needs is peace of mind. This customer has spent a tremendous amount of money. It's not just the money though, it's the quality of life in the tank. It's my pride and joy. It's what I want and need to take care of. I look at it as my own tank. Well, visually, there doesn't appear to be a problem. Let's check inside the cabinet. The main circulation water pump is running. It doesn't feel overly hot. The filter water pump is running. It too doesn't feel hot. The protein skimmer's acting as though it's normally supposed to act. A little curious rise in the water level there. I'm not sure what that's all about. But again, everybody in the aquarium appears to be fine. So let's speak to the homeowner.
I'm thinking it might have been a little bit of a false alarm. When I got there, all the equipment was running. The water level in the wet-dry trickle filter was about an inch too high, and the reports that I was getting were that one of the pumps had stopped. There was a terrible smell. I'm also getting reports that I had to reset a breaker and that none of the pumps were running. So I'm not real sure what they found, or really what they assumed the problem was. At this point, I can't replicate the problem, and I guess they're going to have an electrician come out tomorrow and double check the water pumps to make sure they're not pulling too much juice. So anyhow, I was Johnny on the spot. I got the telephone call and was there within 15 minutes. So, LA Fish Guy saves the day.
I use my emergency calls as a gauge as to how good a job I'm doing. If they're calling all the time, then there's problems in the tank and I'm not doing a very good job. If they're not paging me, then everything's okay and I am doing my job.
Well, we just received one of those panic telephone calls that we don't like. One of my dentist customers has indicated they received a telephone call from the cleaning crew on this Sunday afternoon that the lobby is flooded, wet, and it's been indicated that it's the result of the aquarium. So we're on our way at 5:15 on a Sunday afternoon to go find out what's wrong.
It's now been 25 minutes since we got the telephone call.
What's going on? I see it's low on water, but it's still holding water.
The back of the office is sort of flooded.
Oh, so it's not the tank, but the refrigeration unit or something?
I have no idea what happened.
It's actually the elbowed fitting on the inlet of the water pump.
She got a hold of him.
They were the ones who called me.
Okay.
And I'm supposed to call him once I find out what's going on. He did say, should I get the cleanup crew coming in?
Well, you can determine that. I just don't know.
Let me call Craig and tell him what I have found.
While there's the typical confusion as to who's going to contact the cleanup company, as far as resolving the aquarium and its problem, it's pretty obvious as to what's caused the problem. There are pipe nipples that connect an elbow on the inlet side of the water pump. Oddly enough, both pipe nipples have cracks or fractures in them. Here you can see the ball valve and its cracked fitting. Now the solution to the tank is really quite simple. Since this water pump drew out of one of the filters at the end of the tank, it simply allowed the water in the filters to drain down. We're just simply going to add water back to the system, and as you can see, it's already up and running and the fish are beginning to come back out. As you can see, the resolution to all of these problems was typically quite simple. The point of the whole story is being able to have access to your aquarium service person when you need him the most. Emergency situations. Because isn't that what aquarium service is all about? Providing a service